is coming to Praed. Hi everybody, this is Mandy. I am the author of The Rise of Riverstone, the historical fantasy novel that follows Laria as she navigates an evil regime in order to save her country of Praed. Praed is actually a pretty mountainous area. It has the mountains, but then like the low prairies, and winters there are kind of harsh, especially up on the mountain where she lives in a castle. People who have come to invade her were not prepared for that. They have to try to figure out how to stay warm. How do you survive winter in the Middle Ages? You can't exactly turn on a heater. Clothes were important. Linen clothing with underclothes or leather mittens, wool hats. On top of that, usually they also had a hood. Cloaks made with a hood made out of leather were even better. Winter clothes were often lined with fur. Even peasants had fur-lined winter coats. However, English laws did limit what kind of fur the peasantry could use. Not meant for you. Clothes were also worn inside. You had night clothes, that sort of thing. So many layers is basically what you had to do. And that's what obviously I'm in right now, and I'm kind of dying. Houses obviously didn't have insulation. So one thing that to stay warm when you're in the house was they would heat stones, and they would put that in your bed and kind of heat it up and keep it all snuggly and warm. It's kind of like what I used to do in college. I had an electric blanket, and I used to preheat my bed and get it all warm and cozy. Peasant houses might have a fireplace right in the middle of the room to heat the space. Any kind of openings along the walls, there's no glass generally, but in the windows they would stuff it with paper or rags to kind of seal it up, to kind of reduce drafts. People would share beds, and they would sometimes bring the animals in so they could help keep everybody warm as well. What is your favorite winter food? It's obviously stew, because you could throw anything in there, especially when times were tight. It's getting in the deep winter. You're just cleaning out the cupboards. Stews are great. They also warm the house because you would obviously be stewing it for a while, and it was a very hearty meal. They actually also put fruit in those things because, fun fact, they considered raw fruit unhealthy. And what about the number one issue in winter? Boredom. I mean, you can't just play video games all day. How did you keep from going crazy in the winter? Well, they still played games, but they would ice skate. They would obviously build snow forts and have snowball fights. Sled. Board games. I mean, board games are hundreds of years old. And also, they would go hunt. The pampered princess who Laria serves in The Rise of Riverstone is wholly unprepared for winter, and also how bulky those winter fashions are. I mean, come on. But also, more importantly, she's really worried about her birds. So in The Rise of Riverstone, you also have to consider that the animals needed to stay warm. Just like in peasant houses, you got to seal up all of the spaces in between the boards to make sure that there's no drafts, and plenty of extra bedding for those guys as well. I'm ready to end this video because I am hot and I'm just suffering for my art right now. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Still no TikTok, sorry. I just am too awkward. Remember, if you order from riverstonesaga.com, you will receive a signed paperback novel of The Rise of Riverstone and some swag. Book 2 scheduled to release next year. Hopefully it's still next year and not actually this year, because that's how long it's taken me to put this video out. Thank you so much for being here, you guys.